The film begins showing a man named Cole Turner, who is a farmer and he sells materials for agriculture in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. On the other hand, there is a woman named Sadie Rhodes, a very talented CIA agent. She chose to take a break from her work after the death of her partner, Alina. Sadie ended Alina's life because Alina betrayed the CIA. Shortly thereafter, Sadie stopped by to buy some plants at Cole's friend's stand. And at that time, Cole is the shopkeeper. Their meeting was not so nice because Cole, who is a farmer, doesn't like Sadie's act who buys plants but doesn't intend to take care of it. But in the end, Sadie still buys the plant. Cole's friend regretted their fight because Cole couldn't have approached Sadie and found his lover. Cole was aware of his friend's words and rushed to follow Sadie, who was going to go. Cole then apologized for what he had done. Even though they just met, Cole asked Sadie for a walk. And finally, Sadie accepted Cole's invitation, and they immediately went for a walk together. It was seen that they were getting closer and closer. And finally, they both fell in love with each other and decided to date. Cole felt that his relationship with Sadie would work, so he decided to go back to his parents' house to tell the happy news. Both of Cole's parents were happy about it. Cole himself, who had just met Sadie, felt sad that she was his soulmate. However, Cole's sister didn't believe their relationship would work because Cole was a head-over-heels person, and it can make his partner uncomfortable. A few days passed, and Cole was helping his parents. However, he did not get any news from Sadie. Even days later, Cole still hasn't heard from Sadie. So Cole's younger sister thought that Cole had been ghosted. But still, Cole was sure if Sadie still loved him. Then, while helping his father, Cole starts to run out of breath, so he has to use his inhaler. However, the inhaler is left in Sadie's bag. Then Cole remembered that there was a tracking device in his inhaler, so he quickly tracked it down. As it turns out, the inhaler's location is in London, which means that Sadie is there too. Cole and his parents assumed that Sadie had not given any news so far because she was on business abroad. Cole's parents told him to catch up with Sadie in London for a surprise, and they thought this would be very romantic. But Cole's sister did not agree because her brother had never been out of town. But with strong determination, Cole will still go to London. Shortly, Cole finally arrived in London and started looking for Sadie's location. But unfortunately, he was suddenly kidnapped by unknown people. When he woke up, he was tied. At that time, there was a man who thinks that Cole is the person who killed Alina. And the person who killed Alina has a password which will open a suitcase containing a very deadly weapon called Aztec. And now, Cole is considered to have the password. If Cole didn't tell him, Cole would be tortured. Even though Cole denies that he is just a tourist, the kidnapper still doesn't believe it and is still going to torture Cole. Luckily, when Cole's about to be stung by a wasp, suddenly Sadie comes to save him. Then the two of them try to get out of that place and finish off all the enemies that kept coming. However, Sadie was annoyed with Cole that suddenly came to London because it hindered her mission. Whereas, after completing her mission, Sadie intended to contact Cole, and she had absolutely no intention of ghosting him. After successfully getting out of the place, it turned out that Cole had been held captive in Pakistan. But just as he was about to go, Sadie's enemy kept coming, so they both had to slide from the top of the cliff. When they're cornered, there's a bus passing by, so Cole had no other choice, and he decided to take the bus and leave immediately. But it wasn't over yet, because Sadie's enemy was still chasing them. So, like it or not, they both had to do their best to survive the attacks that kept coming. Cole was just an ordinary civilian, but he turned out to be able to fight because in high school, he had participated in wrestling extracurricular. After successfully escaping from the enemies, Cole was blaming Sadie because when they met, Sadie lied about herself as well as her job. Moreover, the fact that Sadie had killed her partner made Cole think that Sadie was not a good woman. But actually, Sadie did all that because Alina was a traitor. Cole still didn't believe it and said he wanted to get away from Sadie as soon as possible. The problem got more complicated when Cole's kidnapper boss, Levik, thought if Cole was a person who has access to Aztec weapons, which he is going to sell. Then he makes a contest of $1 million for bounty hunters to catch Cole alive, even though it was Sadie who had killed Alina. However, Levik thinks that Cole was the one know the passcode. Finally, Sadie meets her old contact and former lover, Marco. There, Sadie asked Marco to order his men to take Cole back to America. Marco, who knew that Cole was Sadie's boyfriend, told him if he had lost one of his hands because Sadie didn't want to save him and was more concerned with her mission. Then, before Cole was sent home, Sadie left a message for Cole not to contact her again. But unfortunately, suddenly Marco was shot by a bounty hunter named Sam, who was going to bring Cole alive. Cole and Sadie couldn't help but have to obey Sam's words to stay alive. But suddenly, another bounty hunter, Leopard, immediately shot Sam and took Cole with Sadie and got into the car. And suddenly came another bounty hunter, God, who finished off Leopard. God immediately directed Cole and Sadie to get into the car, and he installed a device on them that could make them electrocute. Just arrived at the destination, God suddenly was hit by Sam, who was still alive. Sadie then asks Adonning Sam where Cole is being taken. After knowing the location, they immediately headed to that location. Sadie intended to hide Cole so he would be safe, while Sadie herself was going to find the Aztec. But in the middle of their conversation, Cole said that when he was held captive, the kidnapper kept asking about the passcode. Sadie then realized because all this time, Cole's captor still didn't know the passcode to open the Aztec. The Aztec's passcode contained plant genetics, which was very, very complicated and also unique. However, Sadie finished off Elena before Elena gave the passcode to Cole's captor. Then Sadie had an idea and she suddenly hit Cole until he fainted. By pretending to be a bounty hunter, Sadie brings Cole, who had tied to the captor. But because she didn't get the money yet, Sadie pretended to keep an eye on Cole before getting the money. But it turns out that the captor left a message to his man, Wagner, to finish Sadie as soon as the plane landed. On the plane, Cole felt annoyed at Sadie because she had used him as bait. But unexpectedly, Wagner found out that Sadie and Cole were a couple. Wagner knew it from Cole's cell phone. Then Sadie confessed that she had the passcode. After that, she immediately gave it to Wagner. But it was not the passcode, it was a stun device which God installed before. Unfortunately, during the fight, Sadie's stomach got stabbed, so she told Cole to go take the Aztec and leave her. After that, Cole finally went down using a parachute while carrying Sadie, who was injured. Wagner, who had landed, told Levik that Cole and Sadie had run away. Levik was angry and told Wagner to immediately get the passcode, otherwise he would be killed. 6 hours later, Cole and Sadie were trapped on an isolated island. Luckily, Cole managed to stop Sadie's bleeding. That night, they talked about their lives so that their relationship got better. Sadie also informed her location to other CIA agents so they could pick them up. The next day, Cole was looking for firewood, then he was surprised by Wagner with some of his men who had arrived on the island. At the same time, the CIA agents came to pick up Sadie and Cole. Unfortunately, Wagner took the Aztec because Sadie preferred to save Cole than the Aztec. Arriving at CIA headquarters, Cole and Sadie were interrogated because they failed to get the Aztec. Lie detectors are also installed on them, and here, Sadie admits that saving Cole was a mistake with reasons. Thousands of lives are more important than one's life. Of course, this made Cole angry, and their relationship became tenuous again. Because she failed to get the Aztec, Sadie was suspended because she preferred saving her boyfriend than running her mission. Meanwhile, Cole was interrogated because he tried to protect Sadie, even though she had killed several people before. But when he saw Elena's body, Cole, who was a farmer, realized that the plant at Elena's place is a kind of plant commonly used by the Aztec. Therefore, Cole believes that the genetics of that plant is the passcode to unlock the Aztec. Hearing that, Sadie then has a brilliant idea that they will pretend to sell the passcode to Levik. And to carry out this plan, Cole must be prepared to meet face to face with Levik. If not, Levik will continue to chase Cole until he gets the passcode, and Cole's family could be in danger. Even though he has been warned by Sadie, if it is very dangerous, Cole is finally determined to carry out the mission. After getting genetics from the plants, Cole gave one passcode to Levik, so he will believe that Cole is really selling the passcode. Shortly thereafter, the Aztec weapon buyer, Utami, was very annoyed because he did not immediately get the weapon. If it was not immediately opened, Levik would be finished off by Utami. Long story short, the mission started. Cole immediately enters a room to make a transaction, while he is only accompanied by 3 CIA agents, which makes him feel unsure. On the other hand, Sadie, who was suspended, thought about Cole, who had to carry out a dangerous mission. After arriving at the meeting place, the CIA who accompanied Cole was shot by Levik. Then, Cole was asked to leave because the mission failed. But here, Cole decided to stay and intended to end it all. Shortly, Levik and Utami finally came to meet Cole. Levik kept pressing Cole to immediately give the passcode, but Cole tried to buy time. He thought maybe some help would come. Sure enough, afterwards, Sadie came and she chose to help Cole. While carrying the passcode, Sadie asks for Utami to transfer the money when the suitcase containing Aztec is opened. After it was opened, Utami immediately transferred the money. The $10 million from Utami is used by Sadie to make a contest for bounty hunters to kill Levik. The offer was immediately accepted by the bounty hunters there, so the situation became very tense because they all pointed guns at each other. A gunfight erupts when Levik's men try to shoot Sadie, who is taking the Aztec.
Are you ready?
They all shot each other to get the Aztec and also get the money. On the other hand, Cole and Wagner fought one-on-one, and as a result of the fight, the building machine was damaged, so the restaurant room was revolving very fast and could not be controlled. Sadie was still trying to keep the Aztecs so that Levik did not take it. After defeating Wagner, Cole immediately went up to help Sadie, who was struggling to get the Aztec back. Finally, with good cooperation, they both managed to get the Aztec and also managed to get rid of Levik. After the incident, the relationship between Cole and Sadie was getting better. Then Sadie was introduced to Cole's parents. Sadie was still a CIA agent and her work was discovered by Cole. Meanwhile, Cole is now doing research. Then the film ended.